Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20 plus years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the front window regulator on this 94 Camry. Same as any 92 to 96, and also very similar for the passenger side. Tools you'll need are a regular screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, 10mm wrench or a socket with ratchet and extension, and some painter's tape.
Okay, we're going to start out by removing this trim panel up here. Just kind of put your fingers in behind. If you want, you can use a little screwdriver. Pretty much just pops out. See, it has little pins that go into the grommets there. Now you need to remove this bezel around your door handle. And you do that by inserting a screwdriver at the top, prying up some, and pulling it out. Okay, and then the same thing at the bottom. Prying up with my screwdriver and pulling out with my fingers. Okay. And that comes out.
Close-up of where you place your screwdriver in order to pry that bezel.
Now you need to remove 4 covers that show screws. So basically, you just kind of pry these right off. And I just could keep my hand over them because sometimes they'll go flying a little bit. Okay, and there's another one right under here. Just kind of pry it out and pull it out by hand. And then there's another one right down in here. Same thing. Now remove 5 screws. 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, and then there's 1 in there. 5. Okay, then on the end of the door, there's 2 pins. You actually push the center of the pin in. Okay, and then you can actually pull it out.
Okay, now here's a close-up. Push in the pin, and then use a screwdriver or your fingernail to pry those 2 pins out of the end of the door.
And now there's 4 pins along the bottom of the door. I just recommend getting your hand underneath, giving a good quick tug. My screws came out of the armrest there. Okay, and now you just lift your panel up and off. Okay, and then the last step is to disconnect this harness. And there's a little button right here underneath. Press and work the connection out.
And if you have the up-level stereo with the tweeter in the door pull, you'll need to disconnect those. Now here you're going to carefully peel back your water shield. You want to just take care not to tear it. And if that sticky stuff doesn't work when you put it back together, you can use some tape. And you'll notice I have the inside door handle off to move the... that's just to clear the water shield out of the way a little more to film. You don't actually have to take your inside door handle off in order to get to this part.
Okay, so here you can see is my regulator, and now you can see mine actually works just fine. I'm just kind of showing you how to do it on this car. But there's 2 bolts that hold the regulator to the window, and those are 10mm. And so what you'll do is undo those bolts, lift your window up, use some painter's tape to tape it up, and then there's bolts that hold the regulator in, 1, 2, and 3. A connector here you're going to undo, and then 1, 2, 3 bolts that hold the window motor in. what usually happens on these regulators is the cable breaks, and when the cable's broken, your window will fall down to the bottom. So you can usually grab onto the top of it and slide it up, and then you'll want to remove these two 10mm bolts. Okay, then take your window and slide it right up to the top. And I have some painted tape waiting here.
And here I'm attaching some painter's tape to hold the window up in the frame while I work on the regulator.
And now you'll want to unplug your window motor by pressing down on a tab right here and pulling that from there. And then just use a screwdriver. Try that out. Now you can undo these three. 1, 2, 3. Now remove these three for the window motor. Window motor and the regulator. Come back. Down and out. So here's my original regulator, new regulator from 1A Auto. You can see some slight differences. Actually, some pieces are a little stronger on the 1A Auto motor, but everything's going to install the same. The plug is exactly the same. It's going to plug in fine.
Up slightly here. So now you put the regulator back up in just like you did, and one thing you want to make sure is once you get the bar straight up and down, you get it inside the window, and then pull those studs through. Start your 3 nuts that hold the rail on, and then get the motor up into place and start those 3 nuts that hold the motor on. And once you have the bolts started that hold the regulator and motor, then you can take your tape off and let your window down onto the regulator. And then what you'll do is line up and start those 2 bolts. And then once you have those bolts in, then you can take your 10mm socket with your ratchet and extension and tighten all of them up. So there's 8 bolts in all that you need to tighten, and they need to be firm. They don't have to be super tight or anything like that, just nice and firm.
Now that everything's tightened up, just want to route your harness right through here, clip it together. My switch must have been down. So keys on. Let's see. Everything's working correctly.
Okay, and now you can put your plastic water shield back on, and again, if that sticky stuff wore out or whatever, use some masking tape. If you ripped it, use a little duct tape to bend it up. Okay, we're just going to fast forward through putting the door panel back on. If you took it off, you'll probably be able to get it back on without too much trouble. If you do want to see this in real time, for some help to get the door panel back on, just check out our other video for the Camry door panel installation, and you can see that in regular motion. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.